Hi. Hi. I know. I don't know. I'm Patty, and welcome to ADHD-friendly. As an ADHD coach, I'm here to help you thrive with your ADHD wired brain. If you're looking for more support, check out my ADHD-friendly membership. Information can be found at ADHDfriendly.com. This week's episode, I am celebrating snow time. Woo-hoo. Yep, I got a product in the things I bought this week to update related to the snow. I'm also going to share a quick tip related to procrastination and how you can use procrastination to stop procrastinating. I found that to be a funny workaround. And then we're going to dive into our main topic for this episode, and that's, have you unpacked your luggage from your holiday travels?
Ooh.
If you haven't yet, Simone Biles knows what that feels like. So I'm going to talk about that. As always, I'll highlight my book of the week. So let's dive in and find a little bit more ways to make our week ADHD friendly. Celebration time, guys. It's snow time here in Chicago. I feel like we haven't had hardly any snow this season.
Really, we haven't.
It's been cold, but long stretches of cold with no precipitation.
Ugh.
Until this past weekend, we finally got some decent snow.
Yeah.
It wasn't as much as they originally were forecasting, but we got some decent snow. And it was snow. It happened during the day, which is my favorite because I can watch it. I had all of the blinds up so I could watch the snow falling. You and I moved our schedule around so that we could accommodate the inundation. We were just, yep, keep it safe.
Cozy.
That's one of the gifts we have in our work that we do, is we can be a little bit flexible when we need to be. And I'm very, very appreciative of that. So that is my celebration, but that leads me into what I purchased this week. I did make an impulsive purchase. I am working on some structure in my membership to help us to deal with that impulsive spending. But before I do that, I'm almost feeling like it's like this. Well, before I had structure, I better buy this now because I'm not going to be able to once it's terrible. The way my mind works, guys, sometimes it just undermines me in ways that I'm constantly surprised by. This is my impulse purchase. Who loves shoes? I moved to the Chicago area 6 years ago.
Yep.
I have wanted snowshoes since we moved here. I bought them once. Becca literally said, "Did you buy some? We were talking about last year." Yeah, I bought them last year, and I returned them unopened because I had such guilt. I may have even talked about it on the podcast.
I know.
I had such guilt having purchased them. I found these bad boys at Sam's Club. They were on sale, $79.
How fun.
They had really good reviews. I spatially challenged, could not figure out how to get these bad boys on my feet at all. My husband came and looked at them. He was like, "You just do this and that." So they were actually easy to get on. Because there's like 3 straps. I found them very confusing.
It would be confusing.
I walked around my yard. That was my big outdoor adventure. They were fun. It was more fun on the higher elevations of snow where we took the snow off the driveway and shoveled it. And it was like a mound. Yeah, that was super fun. But I feel like they were at a distance. They even came with the poles and a bag with that price. I know. So I was like, I didn't feel like I could really go wrong, except that they weren't on my list of things I intended to buy or anything. I'm like, I know. I'm not minimizing it. It's a thing. So, but it is something I have. It wasn't an impulse in terms of, I never even thought about snowshoes before.
Right.
I have one of them ever since I used to watch Little House on the Prairie, and I'd watch Charles Ingalls walking around in his tennis racket kind of snowshoes. So I'm super excited to have them, and I hope I get more opportunity to use them this winter. I hope so too. I also, I had to order my dog. I get my dog food from Costco. That's a need, not a want. But because I was ordering and they had clearance clothing, I did get 5 shirts and 1 pair of pants for $70.
Oh my gosh, that's really
I know.
cool.
Again, my husband would say, "Yeah, you saved a ton of money and you didn't spend very much." But I honestly needed each thing I bought, and I don't know. I'm hoping they'll all fit. I hope I get to keep them all because everything I ordered, they're like more like that transition from winter to spring, kind of like long sleeves, but lighter long sleeves.
Yeah, not as heavy.
So, and the pants, come on.
Yeah.
And there's another pair of black, sweatpant kind of thing that I just live in when I'm not having to go outside.
Cozy. Yeah.
Yeah. It makes it easy to keep up my walking routine. So it's very win-win. So that's what I bought this week. None of it really planned. So that's about $150 of impulse spending. Practice, and tomorrow you'll be better than today. I'm still working on it. All right. On to my tip for this week, and that is to use procrastivity thinking to stop procrastinating.
Ooh.
Even now, I'm like, what do I mean by that? Okay, so this is according to Russell Ramsey. Russell is another one of those pretty well-known researchers out there in the ADHD professional community. So procrastivity attacks are often manual. So if you think procrastivity are things that we are doing to avoid doing the thing we don't really want to do. So they're productive. They feel good because we're getting something checked off, but they're not the most important thing we're supposed to be doing. So it could be like, I'm mopping the floor instead of doing my taxes.
Yeah, right.
And mopping is really a great example because it's manual. It's mindless. They don't require a lot of mental effort typically. They have a clear start and end point. It's like vacuuming. It's all of these tasks. Like, I'm going to do this until I'm done. And you know when you're done. They have clear when and where.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, I'm going to vacuum or I'm going to mop the kitchen floor when everybody, is done eating breakfast and gets out of there, whatever it is. They have clear markers of progress and are easy to return to. So for example, I got that vacuum that is now my office vacuum because the cord is just not long enough to, and it's okay at picking up. It's a good kind of like mid-level vacuum.
Yeah, but not like a heavy.
Not heavy for like where all the real dog hair is. I'm still working on that. But for right now, it's doing fine. But it's like I vacuum my office, but I know next I need to vacuum, the other room. So it's like, where you are and where you need to return to. So when you think about using that procrastivity to mitigate procrastination, it has to do with embracing that unpleasant feeling that you get about the thing that's more important that you're avoiding.
Yeah.
So let's break it down. The first is to label that unpleasant feeling. So kind of just to acknowledge it. I'm going to go back to the taxes because we're coming up on tax season. And a lot of people are starting to, have that very familiar, uncomfortable feeling. So it's just labeling it. This is how I feel when I start to think about doing my taxes. That's it. Just acknowledging this is my typical feeling. This is what happens instead of, remember, our brain is designed to support us, not to feel that discomfort and pain. So that is what leads us often to do something else instead of the thing that we are trying to get done. So the second thing is to acknowledge that you're never going to be in the mood to do it. There is not going to be a time in my lifetime, I can tell you, that I'm going to sit down and go, taxes. I can't wait to do this. I'm not going out. No, I'm doing taxes. I'm totally. You want to join? You want to come over? We'll do taxes together.
Party.
There is no perfect time or feeling to do taxes.
No.
Number 3, it might take less time or go better than you think. So challenging that, oh my gosh, because maybe last time it was horrific, or you just have this sense it's just going to be a nightmare. Maybe, but maybe not. Maybe it'll take a little less time. Maybe the amount of time you're estimating isn't very accurate. It's based on how long it felt like it took. So maybe you can time yourself and see how much time is it really taking. Number 4, let go of if I should have started this a while ago, or if I would have done it last weekend like I planned, I'd be done now. Meet yourself where you are, acknowledge, and don't beat yourself up. We want to acknowledge progress wherever you are. If you are starting today, that is progress, right? If you're sitting down, you're like, I'm just going to look at the things, I'm going to just pull receipts. I'm just going to pull my W-2, whatever you're doing. And number 5 is coach yourself. So coaching yourself might look like, I'm going to coach myself. Okay, Patty, you just need to sit at your desk and open the email from your bookkeeper and start. Because the email from my bookkeeper will tell me what I need to do. So I'm just asking myself, Patty, just sit at your desk and open the email and then see what's in there. You might also say, you're not going to like it, but you can do it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's acknowledging the reality is this isn't going to be your happy place. You will be thrilled, though, when you have made some progress. And if you can't get to a point that you're ending in that first work session, note where you stop so you can come back. So it might be, okay, I got these forms. I found them. I sent it to my bookkeeper, whatever. The next step is write it down. So when you come back, you have less resistance to come back and continue working on it. And then finally, this is my tip, connect to your why. So I am doing this blank, whatever the thing is. If it's taxes, I'm doing my taxes so that I know where I actually stand in terms of getting money back or owing money.
Yeah.
Because that unknown creates a lot of discomfort and it will drain our
anxiety.
energy. So connect to what it is, or build in an incentive. It might be, I am doing my taxes and I'm going to get a Dairy Queen Blizzard when I'm done.
Ooh, yum.
Even in February, March, I don't care. I
love
want
ice cream.
I want it anytime.
Yeah.
So that's the tip, to use it to work for you, not against you. All right, now for our main topic. Do you still have luggage that hasn't been unpacked since traveling over the holidays?
No, but I'm a psychopath, so
You're not.
I hate clutter to the point where
That would not be you.
it gives me anxiety if I see any type of clutter.
It's funny. I've had a lot of clients over the years that this is a pretty consistent challenge for those of us with ADHD. And here's the reason I'm sharing this is I came across an article that highlighted, it was a People magazine article that highlighted Simone Biles. She posted on her Instagram account that this was what she wrote. I am truly ashamed to admit that I still have not unpacked one of my suitcases from the Olympics, and it's full of all clean clothes. So this post came out February 7th. The Olympics ended August 11th. Now, she also admits to having ADHD.
Right. Sure.
So first I want to say, Simone, totally typical. It is, there's no urgency to it, especially like when I read that, I was like, well, there's no clean clothes.
Yeah.
Where's the urgency? It's not like there's stuff in there that's like, or it could be if there were clean clothes, then there's like even, or dirty clothes, that might be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe there's something dirty in there. I can't stand the thought of opening that now. It goes all these different ways. We have to tap into what helps us get started. So if unpacked luggage is something either you still have, or you know is a pattern, maybe you don't have it right now because you didn't travel, but you know that's a challenge for you when you come back from any kind of travel. Let's break down what can you do to get past that hurdle of unpacking it. So it's not urgent enough, right? So in Simone's example, the clothes are clean. It's not sparkly. She may know what's in there and doesn't need anything. So it's completely unmotivating. There might be decisions she has to make. It might be, oh, I got these things. I don't know where to put them. I don't know, maybe I got a couple things that are similar. Do I need to keep them all? So we have the decision fatigue, even thinking about the decisions we have to make. And there's also no deadline, right? It's like, it's there, but you can tuck that bag away.
Yeah.
And
it's hidden.
Yeah, it and it's draining you, but other people aren't necessarily coming and being like, why is it's like in the front of your front door and you're like, here's my bag, people. It's here. So we need to activate our interest to be able to start. Remember, our brains are wired for interest. With ADHD, it's like a car without gas if we don't connect with interest. Other people might be able to push through. If it's not interesting, we cannot.
Yeah.
So we need to implement our intentions with interest. That's my triple I. So how do we do that? First, maybe you set a timer. So it's that, I think I can get this bag unpacked. It's almost like that. Can you identify this song in 10 notes or less? 9, I can do this. So maybe think about what's the fastest you think you can unpack this bag, set a timer and try to beat the clock. That creates interest. It creates the urgency. It's novel.
It's fun.
Body double. So Simone, maybe have a friend come over and chit chat while you're unpacking it so that you can laugh together and get your mind off of the dull task. We can body double in person. We can do it online. I love to even body double without the other person even knowing I'm body doubling, where I'll make a phone call and just chat while I'm folding laundry or, unpacking a suitcase, anything that's kind of mind-numbingly dull. I love to do that. Connect to accountability. You shared your picture. I'm curious, and I don't go on Instagram really anymore, so I only know about this because it was posted in People magazine. I'd be curious if that bag was still unpacked now that you've posted it, because the accountability of letting other people know can create the urgency when we didn't have it on our own.
Ooh, to get it done.
It could also be that you're telling somebody else, hey, I still have a suitcase here, taking a picture of it. I'm going to send you a picture tomorrow of it empty.
There you go, accountability.
So you're letting somebody know your plan, and that creates accountability. Yeah. You could incentivize it, like my Blizzard example. You get something when you unpack it, get a little treat. Maybe you just flip around, like you could have a cup of coffee at any time, but you're allowing yourself to use it as a motivator. So you're deciding, I'm not getting coffee until that suitcase is unpacked. You can wait as long as you want, but
Right.
the coffee is kind of the carrot that's pulling you into
You
it.
want that coffee.
And then the last could be make decisions about what you could do with what's in there. So in the suitcase example for Simone, it could be, they're all new things, they're all clean. I'm going to go through and decide, what am I keeping? I'm going to have a keep pile, a donate pile. I don't know, giveaway, like whatever.
Yeah.
So that you're gifting to others, you're, kind of have some structure to help you get into it. So you've already decided some of the things that you could find draining. So create some interest with a little bit of structure to get your suitcase unpacked, or whatever that thing is that needs to get done that still is just lingering.
Yeah.
So that's it. All right. This week's book of the week.
Ooh.
It's called Destroy This House. This is by Amanda. I don't know how to pronounce your last name, Amanda. Sorry. Yule? Yuli? I don't know. Sorry. But Amanda, this is a memoir, written really smallly, a memoir that really resonated with me. So it was hard to read at times. So the little description said, for fans of The Glass Castle. Did you read The Glass Castle?
Sounds familiar.
It was like, there was a movie based on it too, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Came out like maybe 15 years ago now, maybe not quite that long, but I think it's been at least 15 years.
Yeah.
I remember reading The Glass Castle, and it was uncomfortable. The parents were really dysfunctional. I think the mom and dad ended up being homeless at some point. This is more about a mom that's a hoarder. And they honestly both sound like they have ADHD. That's not discussed.
Yeah.
It's just my own take, or at least there's some definitely executive dysfunction going on. But they said that it's a heartbreaking and hilarious memoir chronicling the challenges of growing up with a desperately scheming father and a mother plagued by an acute hoarding disorder, and parenting parents while seeking independence. So I've shared before, I grew up when my parents separated when I was 11. My mom moved us down to Florida, away from my dad, who was in New Jersey, and she was an alcoholic. And that really became something that we couldn't ignore when we got down to Florida, and she was solo parenting. And I think I only had 2 friends over at the house the entire time we lived down there, because it was embarrassing. And so while not a hoarder, it had a lot of those similar feelings as I read the book, of discomfort, of remembering what that felt like to not want people to come over, or to not want anybody to know what was going on behind closed doors. And so it was not an easy read, but I did appreciate the story and the sense of connection it gave me. But you got to be in a certain mood. I'm going to acknowledge, like, it's definitely something you got to be ready for. It's not like oh, that was really fun.
So
Give me another one.
Dark humor.
It has some dark humor, but it also has some, like, when you can't help but picture these little kids. It's her and her younger brother, and you can't help but picture them really struggling to get food, they're constantly moving in the middle of the night, and her dad is really a schemer. It's like, oh, I'm going to take your money that you made from this and I'll pay you back, but I need it right now to, and of course they never saw their money again.
Of course.
But I'd say I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. So it's not like go read, but some people absolutely loved it. So it may have been more my past that led. It was well written, and a story that really pulled you in. It was told like a story. It wasn't just, kind of, sometimes when you read memoirs, they're not written like a story going through. So sometimes I forgot that it wasn't like a fictionalized story, which I enjoy for a memoir, because it just pulls me in. So yeah, Destroy This House. If that kind of book, it actually reminds me that the way that the background of the house looks, it reminds me of my house growing up. So, and I have a picture of me standing in front of bushes like that. So it felt a little like familiar. It was interesting. All right, now for the quote of the week. This is from, and I'm going to totally mispronounce this name, I apologize. Ziad, Z-I-A-D-K Adelnor. And he says, everyone you meet comes with baggage. Find someone who loves you enough to help you unpack. I thought that was just perfect for the tip around unpacking your suitcase. So I thought that was fun. That's it for this episode of ADHD Friendly. If you're looking for more help, more support, more ways to tilt that playing field in favor of your brain wiring, I invite you to check out the membership at ADHDfriendly.com. Until next time, tally ho.